Our Matthew Vadum, who is a Conservative author and former Vice President of the right-wing think tank Capital Research Centre, joins us here live. Matthew, thanks very much for your time, first of all.
Thank you.
If I can start with getting your reaction to what will inevitably be the impeachment of Donald Trump.
Well, it certainly looks like the Democrats are hell-bent on doing it. The facts be damned. So they're going to do it, and it probably will not redound to their benefit, but they seem pretty determined to do it unless a handful of them back out at the last minute. And I think that it's too politically important for Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party to do this. Their base is really counting on it, and they've been demanding that Donald Trump be impeached since the moment he was sworn in. Well, really, before he was even sworn in, the day after he was elected, they were already demanding his impeachment. Do
you conclude that this is a witch hunt, as Donald Trump says?
Witch hunt is not a word phrase that I would use, but I'd say that it is. It's been similar to a kangaroo court. It's been a Kafkaesque process. There haven't been. Donald Trump hasn't been accused of anything that I would consider to be a high crime or misdemeanor. He's done some things that come across as seemly to some people, like, for example, the thing that started it all, the conversation with the Ukrainian President Zelensky back in the summer, in which he asked for more information about Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden and their work, the son's work for Burisma, and about computer servers and so on. But as I see it, President Trump was trying to investigate the
but it was pretty clear in that conversation that the conditioning of a White House meeting and that $400 million in foreign aid was based on whether or not the Ukrainians could actually follow through on this investigation.
I don't think it was at all clear that it was conditioned upon that. I think that if you look at the actual transcript,
given the fact the hearings and the evidence that mounts to that accusation,
I don't think the evidence says that at all. I think that what happened is there was a conversation and it was transcribed. And secretly, the Trump administration was withholding aid for whatever reason, but they didn't tell the other side that they were withholding aid. It wasn't what someone would call a quid pro quo. They weren't demanding that anything be done in exchange for that. There are officials and
statements to suggest that it was a quid pro quo.
There are
It's not just about the transcript.
There are statements that I don't think are credible. Now, can I just say one thing, and that is that even if there were a quid pro quo, a lot of people don't understand about how American foreign policy works. The concept is not valid when it comes to U.S. foreign policy, when it comes to presidents. Presidents, Obama, George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, Richard Nixon, they all imposed conditions on foreign aid. And the concept of quid pro quo doesn't really apply, just like, and another example that I would give you is when they wanted to end the World War II and President Harry Truman told Japan to surrender.
That's all valid. Let's move on.
Okay.
But the fact that the White House was so quick to try and seal this conversation off, to keep it away from prying eyes, does indicate that there was something wrong with that particular conversation. But let's move on to the Senate now. Will there be a fair trial?
I wouldn't agree with that presupposition.
Will there be a fair trial?
Will there be a fair trial? I think there will be.
In the Senate?
I think there will be. I don't think that there's any, there may not even be a full-blown trial. The matter, I was hoping that some evidence would actually be called, that the Bidens would be called, because the president would have the right to call, I imagine, just about anybody he wants as a witness in his trial, subject to the will of the individual senators and the Chief Justice, John Roberts, who's going to preside over the thing. But it looks right now like Senator Mitch McConnell and others don't want to have a full-blown trial, that they want to have it summarily dismissed shortly after it begins.
Doesn't a fair trial involve witnesses and documents? Isn't that what a trial means? Why would the Republicans not allow those witnesses?
The concept of a fair trial means that someone is given an opportunity to be heard. But if in the view of, see, this is an irregular court, so the rules are different. It's up to what the senators decide they want to do, subject to the rulings of the Chief Justice.
Which makes it political and not a fair trial.
Right. Well, it's not a trial.
But they've signed an office of oath.
It's not a trial in the judicial sense of a trial. It's a trial that is inherently political, and they can impeach him and remove him for anything they want, for any deviation from the traditional norms that presidents observe. So it's not a trial in the sense of like a criminal trial or even a civil lawsuit. Any ruling by the Chief Justice, the presiding officer, can be overridden by a majority of the senators.
They have signed an oath. Anyway, we'll leave it there.
Well, yeah, they've signed an oath of office to be fair, but still, fairness is in the eye of the beholder here.
Certainly
and this
is in this particular
process.
Situation, and it's a partisan process at this point, it seems like.
It is.
All right, we'll leave it there for the time being. Really appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Matthew.
All right, thank you.
Matthew Vadum there for us.